Check, Rooney. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We good with mics? Good? Okay. Here comes the express. Watch yourself. What up, y'all? Let's go. Welcome to Windsor, Ontario. Welcome to the WFCU Center. We're back for more NBL Canada basketball action. Once again, it's the Sudbury 5 taking on the Windsor Express. Good evening and happy basketball once again. I'm Aaron Sanders. This is JP Justin Prince. You know, whether you look at it, it's either you're on the right side of history or on the other side of history. And JP, the Sudbury 5 are really making history. They're on the good side of it. They're starting off with 3-0. And, of course, a win today would tie them for the best start of franchise history, but they're not focused on history. They're focused on the game, and according to Logan Stutz, they have a really good thing going on for them right now.
Yes, indeed, right now. This is a system that is working to perfection for how they want to play this season. High-scoring team so far, as well as while allowing a lot of points, being able to still keep leads, especially down the stretch. This is a team that seems to be built for the modern game with small ball action and for the triple. And for Logan Stutz, despite, of course, having 10 times more the work than expected during the preseason, now is looking like he's very comfortable after these first 3 games heading to the 4th game of his head coach and GM career.
Well, considering that they have a strong front court and a strong back court, it's a matter of getting everybody involved. I mean, like you said, you know, if they shoot like around 140, they're going to shoot 141. So it's safe to say they are not hesitant on their shots or any of their choices at all.
Exactly. This is a team that, as mentioned, you just said there, their system is built for allowing us scoring as many points as possible. They're not worried about allowing a lot of points. As long as they're up in front of the score sheet, that will be the case. This is a team that will drive the Express fits tonight, I think, here, Aaron, as we've seen, especially in the second half of the first game for the home opener for the Express.
Absolutely. Express were up 20 on that opening night, and then they lost it 126-123. And this is where we put the Windsor Express into that equation. Not off to the best start. 0-3 start. They lost against KW a few nights ago, 100-88. The message is plain and simple. They got to get a move on.
They have to. This is something the organization, including Bill Jones, has never seen in terms of a player as a head coach, really, in his career so far. So this is a team that's been working all throughout the week, during the off-week and practices, to try and improve on some of the main issues that have been seen, especially with stuff like the bench, having issues with consistency as well as conditioning for second halves coming out of the locker room where teams have been able to explode and pull one away in the second halves. There's a lot that still needs to be fixed up, but it's about trying to focus on the mini goals as they set themselves, as talked to Scott Newman about. They are focused on winning tonight, then taking it game by game from here on out.
Keep in mind, too, conditioning is the most important key. I'm glad you bring that up because this is the first game of a home-and-home series. So tonight they're here in Windsor. In a few nights from now, they'll be over at Sudbury. So conditioning is important. What would be the keys of the game if you were the Sudbury 5 tonight?
For the Sudbury 5, they have been happy with a lot of things, but of course, there's still a lot of things to fix up. They want to see more ball movement, especially in the second half of games right now. So they're expected to use one of the main keys to try and add more offensive sets, try and make some more ball movement to try and produce some more points as their scoring has gone downward between each game so far in the first 3 seasons. As well, they want to clean up some things defensively, especially on the transition game as well. They're expecting a completely different Bill Jones team. Logan Stutz, you got to remember, played for him for about a season and a half here in Windsor in the NBL. He's expecting Bill Jones to have a completely different take, and they have to be prepared to score on offense. were one of the main keys with the Express to get to. If the Express keep them off the three-point line in the Sudbury 5 missed triples, I think the Sudbury 5 could be in trouble tonight against Express.
I want to add one thing, and this is perfectly honest, too. Sudbury 5 is among the bottom when it comes to assists, too. So even though they're good to score and they're good off the transition, they got to spread the floor more, and they got to get everybody else involved, because you can't rely it on the backcourt all the time. Like you said, they could shoot from anywhere else from here to Timbuktu. It's just getting everybody involved.
Exactly, and that's why they've been working on that in practices for this home-and-home series and for the rest of the season, to try and get the assists on up, to try and get the scoring up. They want to score as much as possible. As you said, and as Logan Stutz had said, they can allow 140 if they want. They want to score 141, though, to try and secure the victory.
Windsor Express trying to get their first win. There's a lot of things they got to take into consideration. Of course, with those practices in the last few days, you really pick up on a lot of that. What's going to be the keys for them?
Well, some of the keys for them, as mentioned throughout the weekend, as mentioned prior to tonight's game, having a couple things. Trying to fix up the defense, especially three-point shooting. They want to make sure they chase them off the three-point line and force contested two-point shots to take away that scoring opportunity for multiple teams. Not just the Sudbury 5, of course, that starts tonight. As well, it's about fixing up a lot of the little things. Trying to sweep up the corners, as Scott Newman, the director of pro scouting, said. Try and not just do the basics, try and make sure you protect the corner threes and box out on shots. And the third thing, conditioning. You gotta make sure you're able to play in the second half. They've been working on that all week of the off week to make sure they play at the right tempo they want to, take advantage of that time they had. If they can utilize that and use tonight as a springboard for the rest of the early part of the season, they'll be in decent shape.
Overall, they got to play a 448.
Exactly. They got to play a 448, plus have a bench that is ready to come off and replace the starters if need be, to make sure they're ready to play that full 48 and score the full 48 minutes.
And you're ready to call the game. JP's going to be calling the game. I'll be on color. We got Jordan Ferris on the sidelines, too. We'll go to him throughout the duration of the game, but you're in for a treat. It's going to be a good game. The Sudbury 5 and the Windsor Express here from the WFCU Center. In a few moments, we'll have the anthem, the starters, and the ceremonial ball toss, but we'll have all that when we return in just a moment. You're watching the Windsor Express Basketball Network.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's coverage of Windsor Express basketball live on the Windsor Express Network. Tonight's matchup features the visiting Sudbury 5 and the Windsor Express. I'm Justin Burns, joined alongside is Aaron Sanders. Sideline reporter tonight is Jordan Ferris. Let's send it down to our PA address announcer, Mark Knight, for tonight's performance of the national anthem, as performed tonight by Kirsten Bell. And a great performance of the national anthem once again by Kirsten Bell for tonight's coverage of Windsor Express basketball live on the Windsor Express Network. Tonight's matchup features the 0-3 Express and the 3-0 Sudbury 5. Justin Prince joined alongside Aaron Sanders. Once again, Jordan Ferris tonight will be our sideline reporter for tonight's coverage. It's a tale of two different teams so far tonight. It's just discussed during the pregame, and a team looking to change things up, of course, tonight on Ladies' Night. As we look down at tonight's ceremonial ball toss tonight, with Shine the Light, it's Eva Kratchaville for tonight, as she is with Shine the Light in Hiatus House, as the Express features Shine the Light, who is looking to end domestic violence against women. And a great performance of the ceremonial tip-off here, Aaron. Great cause. Some players tonight wearing purple socks for the Express as well.
Yeah, you can see when it comes to the Express crew, they're wearing purple for that cause, JP. And like you said, it's a good cause. Please support no matter what you do, because if you think of it, JP, we support everybody, and this is a great cause.
A great cause indeed. Multiple teams throughout the league hold Shine the Light nights. As now, let's look at your starting five for tonight's coverage. Jalen Brand, Braylon Rayson will start for the Sudbury 5, along like Cord Dixon. Georgia Cerise will also start alongside Travis Relford. As let's take a look at the video screen as the Windsor Express prepare to announce their starting five. Let's listen in to Mark Knight.
On track to start tonight's game, give it up for number 1, Juan Patillo. Number 5 is Brian Addison. coach of the Windsor Express is Bill Jones. Assistant coaches are Aaron McDonald and Neil Foreman, Gary Mazza, and Mark Anderson.
And as you can hear tonight, a major change to the starting five tonight. Mr. Aaron Sanders taking the place in the starting five tonight for Richard Ramadi. Anthony Utley Jr. moving to the starting five for the Windsor Express.
Well, they wanted some big scoring, especially when it comes to this Sudbury 5 team that can shoot from anywhere to Timbuktu, like I said in the pregame show. So this is a smart move regardless. So it's going to be good to see what Anthony Utley Jr. could provide, because remember, he put on a good impact coming off the bench last season. He wanted some more time, and he's going to get it tonight.
Also gives the Express some scoring off the bench as well. That is much needed for them the way the season has gone so far. Not a lot of help from the bench from the Express so far, as discussed a bit during the pregame.
Absolutely, and when it comes down to it, too, the Windsor Express aren't doing well scoring-wise at all. They're 8th in scoring, 99 points per game, and this is what happens when you score less than 100 points in the last 2 games, so they're trying to find some way to get back in the scoring groove. So this is one of those steps they really need to take if they want to get their first win this year.
Tonight's officials, Chris Delaney, Jeff Astles, and Mike Hardy. Leading the crew will be Delaney, as we're just a few moments away from the start of tonight's action. Wearing black tonight will be the Sudbury 5. Wearing the red jerseys will be the Windsor Express. As the fans continue to pack into the WFCU Center for tonight's action, a rematch of the season home opener in the inaugural game for the Sudbury 5 here tonight for the start of a home-and-home series. The Windsor Express looking to turn things around, 0-3 to start off the season. The Sudbury 5 having one of the best starts for expansion franchise history in the NBLC, 3-0 to start off the season, as we're just about all set for the tip. Brian Addison will go for the tip for the Windsor Express. He'll tip off this time. I'm in the start as we're off and away. The Sudbury 5 have first possession. Sudbury 5 trying to start up on the top. Rounding around to the perimeter. 3 men, 2 out offensive set. 10 already on the shot clock. Still trying to work their way around. Back to the outside perimeter. Cerise, contested mid-range jump shot, able to drain it in Anderson's face.
Now you can see the Windsor Express try to start off by swarming them down to the perimeter, but it didn't work out well because they found some cracks in the defense, and that's why they passed it right down mid-low, 5 up top.
Quick shot, no good from the Express. Tapped out by Utley Jr. as he runs into the brick wall of Corey Dixon for the first personal of the game.
In addition to the confidence of Anthony Utley Jr., you can see the hustle and the finesse he provides, because you saw him hit the deck earlier. Now, if the rest of the Windsor Express could provide that same trade, they'll be up and running.
Corey Dixon with his first personal first-team foul as Anderson. Quick pass to Patillo, intercepted. Here come the Sudbury 5 up the floor. Taking it up the floor, Relford. Out to the perimeter, no good on the triple. Utley Jr. gets the ball as the Express regroup.
Once again, that's a good shot for the Sudbury 5 because they're known for their transition game and they convert it real well.
And a quick whistle as a shot clock technical issue. 2-0 to score after the first minute and 2 seconds here at the WFCU Center. Sudbury 5 up 2-0, of course. Sudbury 5 known to score a lot. Last time here scored 126 points to the Express's 123.
And keep in mind, too, in addition to those 126 points, the next night they scored 115 in their win against KW. And then their first home game a few nights ago, they scored 112. That's why they're best in scoring the league so far, averaging almost 118 points a game. So it's safe to say these guys aren't hesitant and they're not coy when it comes to putting up the shot.
Wormley with the possession of the ball, passes up to Patil. Patil with the jump shot, rolls out, no good.
That's usually his bread and butter, but that one wouldn't fall for him. Plus, the Windsor Express couldn't find a way to box him out.
Braylon Rayson, the former Windsor Express guard, tries to cut inside. Back outside, Cerise for the triple, no good off the back rim. Picked up by Patillo. Express trying to push up the tempo. Wormley inside the arc for the mid-range, no good. Tapped out for the Sudbury 5. As that one goes out of bounds, they say it's off the Express.
You see, on that back tap, it was expected for Anderson to come up closer to the basket, right where he usually commits his damage, right from the corner, JP. But Anderson did not pick up the memo on that, and therefore it's a turnover for Windsor.
2-0 still your score, approaching 2 minutes into the first quarter. As Rayson down low to the post. Trying to shorter his way in. Fadeaway jump shot. It's good. Travis Relford with a bucket. Relford with the bucket.
Nice way to get that bounce and get the spacing right out. He got the little shove there. He turned around and he popped it up from the free throw line.
Relford a 43% shooter so far as the Express have the backcourt violation after the tap out.
And unfortunately, it's going the way it was for the last few games for the Express. They're not the type of team that is really seized onto the ball. They commit some turnovers, and that wasn't a good one there.
So the Sudbury 5 have possession once again, just past the 2-minute mark. Last time at home, the Express just looked miscombobulated against the St. John's Edge, especially system-wise in the first quarter. Same issue again tonight. Second chance for Dixon after the rebound. It's going back the other way. Points won't count. Braylon Rayson tried to put up the shot. Offensive foul called.
Absolutely, and that's what happens when you're right down to the post. You got to show that you're not going to come on in soft. So,
and we have our first substitution too. Dixon already in foul trouble. Second personal, second team foul as the 5 make their first substitution. Grandy Glaze comes into the game, one of the top Canadians so far in the early going into the season.
Absolutely. This is only his second year, JP, and he really struck a rich with the St. John's Edge last year. And in addition to that, he was named to the 3rd All-Canadian team, and he represented Canada in the FIBA World Cup earlier in 2018.
Wormley goes up for the shot outside, no good. Picked up once again by the Sudbury 5. Rutherford tries to go coast to coast by Patillo for the bucket.
I understand you want to beat the 5 with speed, but if nobody's there to box out, then you can't beat them in speed. They'll just beat you in muscle.
Express continue to try and get on the board. They have shot 0 from the field so far. 0 for 3. Chance to go for 1 for 4. No good. It's 0 for 4 so far tonight. The Windsor Express continue to stay scoreless 3 minutes into the first quarter. Rutherford on the outside with a mismatch. He slows it back down. Back out to Rayson. 9 on the shot clock. Gets the pick and roll with Glaze. Rayson drives to the bucket. 3 on the shot clock as he throws it away. Here come the Express. Wormley. Quick shot from Utley Jr. Able to get to Anderson for the bucket.
Well, that's a nice way to get your first 2 points. You go off that turnover. They thought somebody was there up top. And you can see right down there a quick turnover and a good look for Anderson.
And that breaks the cold spell for Windsor so far tonight. Now a quick shot roll for no good. Picked up by Wormley. Express try and push the tempo. Anderson contested triple. Yes, sir.
Well, you better watch out if this guy gets hot, because that's his bread and butter, been his bread and butter for the majority of his 5 years in the NBLC.
First triple of the night, Ryan Anderson. Looking impressive so far with the Express so far this season. 47.5% from the field overall. Rayson sheds Wormley meanwhile. Inside, Addison forces the miss. Here comes Windsor on the 5-on-4. Wormley pass stolen away. Rayson's on his own. Grace tries to help as Rayson gets the bucket.
You see Rayson trying to put it up there and trying to get the foul, so he cherry-picked right there in the last play. Smart move.
And a quick basket for the Windsor Express on the other side. And the scoring just like that's woken up the Express. Have picked up the pace, a 7-2 run.
Now, what they got to do is make sure they get some answers down low, start boxing out, because once again, this is a team that averages 41 rebounds a game, 9th in the league, so they got to pick up on that.
Driving inside, Glaze in traffic, rejected from behind by Anderson. Swept away by Anderson on the second chance. Express slow it back down, get it back to Wormley. To the corner, Utley Jr. He hesitates back out. Approaching 5 minutes into the first. Utley Jr. outside, no good. Patillo nearly forces the offensive board as Glaze tries to go coast to coast. Tries by Addison. Addison forces the miss. Anderson gets the board, works his way through the double team. Anderson, Euro steps to Utley Jr. Beautiful pass for the bucket.
Oh, how about those over-the-shoulder passes, JP? I mean, they're a thing of beauty. Ryan Anderson with the quick drive, and he found a good answer.
6:40 to go in the first quarter here at the WFCU Center. Quick shot, Bland, no good on the outside. Picked up by Addison. Express hold on to a 9-8 lead. A 9-2 run in the past 2.5 minutes. As Anderson misses, Utley Jr. second chance. In traffic, Hop steps his way for the putback.
Now, normally, you heard me get disappointed at the lack of the box out, but it took one person to just go for those second chance opportunities. Sudbury wasn't ready.
And Rayson makes sure the Express aren't ready for the jump shot.
You know, maybe I should keep my mouth shut in situations like these, because you know what? Sudbury will find a way to bounce back.
Braylon Rayson having a heck of a season after having a good rookie campaign with the Express. 24 points per game for the 5 as a hard foul on Wormley. Wormley goes to the floor as the 5 have their third foul of the first quarter.
Well, that's one of those situations you really got to deal with. You can't be Koya taking a little bit of a slap in the mouth or any physicality down to the paint. And Wormley's one of those guys that knows how to take a fight like that. I mean, the guy could drive down to the lane, but it's a matter of converting.
And media timeout on the floor with 5:56 to go in the first quarter. Take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll have more coverage of the National Basketball League of Canada live from the WFCU Center. Express lead 11-10. Welcome back, everyone, to tonight's coverage of Windsor Express basketball live from the WFCU Center, presented by St. Clair College and Booster Juice. 11-10's the score so far. The Express started off slow, Aaron, but were able to wake up in the past couple minutes, about the past 3.5 minutes. So far, an 11-4 run.
Well, see, they realized they can't beat them in speed, so they did it off of execution. They swung the ball around, they found good looks, and on the previous play, we've seen Wormley try to drive down. That's one way you're going to beat that tough Sudbury front court. You go right into the heart of the defense, take the contact, and try to convert on either a 2 or a 3-point play. That's good. In addition to that, it helps when you have wide ball vision, too, because we've seen a few minutes ago, Ryan Anderson picked up a steal from a very, very errant high pass. In addition to that, Ryan Anderson got his hands involved, which led up for a fast 2 points down there. So that's one of the good things that the Windsor Express are doing right now. The question is, can they put that up for the rest of the way?
That's going to be the big question as they come out of the timeout. Once again, Wormley at the free throw line after drawing a hard foul for the third personal for the 5 so far in this first quarter. As the Sudbury 5 have already made a couple substitutions on the floor. Devin Gilligan, will come onto the floor, and they have now changed it from a free throw situation to a half-court set. Anderson misses the triple as we're back on our way from the WFCU Center. Gilligan back outside. Bland, contested triple off the front rim. Express triangle back down the floor, up to Patillo. Patillo to the bucket, it's good.
Quick stoppage of play here, JP, but once again, we look back in the last couple of plays. The Windsor Express, you can see them. They're picking up the speed. The pace is in their favor. But now you got to find some way to stop them on the defensive end because, once again, Jalen Bland was able to get a high shot off. You can't allow him to have those easy looks.
As you can see, trying to make sure the shot clock's properly adjusted. Already a few adjustments from the 5 off the bench. You have a lineup of Travis Rowleford on the floor alongside Braylon Rayson. In the corner right now is Gilligan as they continue to try and set up for this inbound. A couple more substitutions also set up amongst the floor who are in their black jerseys here tonight. Also lined up on the floor right now along with Rowleford in the rest of the game. Taking it up is Gilligan, pardon me.
And Gilligan's been having a good season so far. He's averaging almost 11 points and 7 rebounds a game, so he's becoming one of the nice forces as Glaze puts it up and misses it.
Glaze, contested shot, no good. Rebounded by Addison as Wormley gets it to Patillo. Down low in the post. Patillo drives in, gets an hour quick 2.
He's one of the few players that can get himself out of trouble near the baseline and just create space and find a way to fill the 10 in.
To make sure it's clear on the floor, it's Gilligan lined up on the floor alongside Glaze, lined up alongside alongside Bland, along with Rayson. And rounding out the players on the floor once again is Rowleford, as that's no good from the outside. Express continue to seal up the perimeter. Multiple shots no good from 3 so far in this first. Anderson down low to Patillo. Contested jump shot from the mid-range. He's red hot in the first. Another quick bucket.
That's classic footwork, something that is missed in these days. Rayson
falling back again, no good from 3. As Anderson tries to go coast to coast. Wormley, mid-range jump shot, just rolls out. Rebounded by Jalen Brand. Jalen Brand last time here in Windsor had a heck of a performance, 40-plus points. As he cuts inside over Utley Jr., no good. Glaze, though, there for the putback, misses, though. Stripped away from Gilligan. Here comes Anderson on the Express. Windsor goes back to the half-court set. Anderson steps up back to Wormley. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Up by 7. Down low, Patillo. Spins by in the mismatch. Takes advantage. Just rims out. Second chance, though, no good. Glaze able to get the rebound in a triple team.
You got to make those, but you got to admire that little spin move.
Cutting inside. Quick bucket. It's good from the Sudbury 5. Jalen Brand with the triple breaks the run as the Express had gone for 17-4 run.
And that's how he was able to get those 43 points on opening night, JP. Just getting open, taking those shots immediately as Anderson misses the 3 from outside.
Contested 3, no good as Addison knocks the ball out of bounds. It'll stay Sudbury 5 possession. A couple more substitutions. Adam Blazek onto the floor. Also onto the floor now. Coming on, Dexter Williams Jr., the injury IR designation for Walter Pitchford.
Absolutely. He's one of those guys that really lit up in the first game here. So as Pitchford takes a couple of games out to rest up, he's going to step up.
Blazek, meanwhile, drives inside. Rejected inside by the Express. Bland with the second chance drains the triple.
See, that's one of those problems when you get a big-time block like that. You lose all attention to the other play, and you think you'll be ready for the transition game.
Express also making some substitutions on that stoppage. DeAndre Thomas and Richard Armati now onto the floor for Windsor. Armati in the corner. Step to the right. Loses the dribble. Inside the paint, 5 on the shot clock, gets it to go.
Now remember, Armati's starting off the bench, and he usually lights up on the offense, but so far the adjustments Bill Jones have made prior to this game has been working well.
Richard Armati making his first appearance off the bench of the season after starting the past 3 games. Triple's no good from the Sudbury 5 with a fresh 24, and that's going to be traveling for the Sudbury 5. Now substitution for Windsor as they bring another quick player on the floor. It's Reggie Hamilton, a player that's really caught your eyes for this Windsor Express squad.
Absolutely. This guy could make his own shots, find his way to bail out of the sidelines, and he's doing really good for himself. Almost 10 points a game, 2 assists per game as well. Safe to say that whatever he's doing in Bill Jones' system has been working out in the last 2 games.
Pass knocked away by the 5, 12 on the shot clock still. Going back to Hamilton. Of course, played a couple seasons in the NBA G League in 2012 and 2014. Also played in Poland and Argentina. And someone that's really helped him with this team so far. In terms of the guard spot, is an hour quick whistle. And it looks like we might be going the other direction.
Yeah, it appears to be on DeAndre Thomas, and that's been one of the Express's vice this season. They try to work too hard inside to break through to get open space, but that leads up to those fouls.
DeAndre Thomas with his first personal, the first team foul for the Express. Just 2 minutes to go approaching in the first quarter. Hard defense on the perimeter from Hamilton. Blazek steps away, gets the screen, off the front rim, no good. Rebound picked up again by Anderson in traffic. Anderson trying to rush on up. Outside of Hamilton. DeAndre Thomas sets the screen on the perimeter around Blazek. Hamilton over the traffic, draws the whistle, and he may go to the line to shoot 2 here.
It appears that he is going to the line, and if he is, that spells trouble for anybody that tries to foul him, JP, because at this point, he is the best free throw shooter in the league, perfect from the stripe.
100% so far on the season so far for Hamilton, as he'll set up for his first free throws of the night. Averages 3.3 attempts per game as he makes the first of 2. And the Express have looked very much more better so far, especially defensively in this first quarter compared to the last home game.
Absolutely. They've been able to box out much more, but the problem is they got to make sure they put a body on somebody that's from the outside, because if they get a shot going, that's going to be a long night for them.
Shot on the perimeter. Gilligan falls back, no good. Another triple, another miss for Sudbury.
You see, if I was Bill Jones right now, I tell the team, you got to wake up from beyond the arc, all right? It's good enough you're stopping them inside, but if you're not playing on both inside and outside defensively, then you're not going to be working out real well.
Remember, one of the main keys for the Express, at least for tonight, try and move the Sudbury 5 off the perimeter as Hamilton gives it to Thomas. Low post, 6 on the shot clock, under 90 seconds to go in the first. Falls back, no good. Second chance picked up Hamilton. He pulls up for the quick 3, gets it.
And immediately, Reggie Hamilton making an impact in the last few minutes, just spotting up on those threes.
Already 5 points off the bench. Has the 5 outside for the triple again. It's good. Gilligan with the bucket, averaging double digits so far off the bench this season. Thomas now goes up to the post. Across to Armardi. Armardi falls back. Contested shot, no good. Here comes the 5. Sudbury 5 now have to rotate off the bench as they draw the quick whistle for just the second personal against the Express.
Absolutely, but DeAndre's got to be careful with those hands too. I like his aggressiveness. Don't get me wrong, kids. I like the aggressiveness, but when you dig right into it too close, you're going to be called for the foul. I mean, it's a big man. That's one of the big flaws if you are a big man, JP.
Yeah.
You just got to work through it.
Once again on the floor, Tate, Gilligan lined up with Glaze, Blazik, and rounding out the players on the floor is Williams Jr. To the corner, it's good. Gilligan with the bucket.
Yeah, there's no stopping Gilligan, no matter where you put him, whether from the side or from the top. You can't stop him until you put a hand on him.
10 seconds to go in the first quarter. Shot clock is off. Hamilton guarded by Blazik. Cuts inside, in traffic. Gets it to go with 2 seconds left. Sudbury 5 tried to inbound it, but after 1 quarter of play, the Express lead 26-22 over the Sudbury 5.
Absolutely a good effort from the Express. Like you said, they're coming alive defensively and offensively, but there's still a whole lot of ball game to go.
And with that, the Windsor Express lead by 4. We'll take a quick timeout. You're watching Windsor Express basketball on the Windsor Express Network. We'll be back in just a second. Welcome back, everyone, to the WFCU Center for more coverage of the National Basketball League of Canada. Express lead by 4. Let's check in with our sideline reporter for tonight, Jordan Ferris. He's standing by on the left side. Jordan?
The Express have gotten off to a little bit of a slow start into this game, but were able to pick things up. They looked more energized on getting contested balls, but they're having trouble from 3 range, as Anderson has made only 2 of 5 he's taken. Coach Jones emphasized a defensive structure and to tighten things up in the defense.
And some very strong points. Apologies for some of the technical issues there. But he hit on that, trying to emphasize on some of the defensive points that Bill Jones was talking about in the huddle approaching the start of the second quarter.
Well, you got to box out, number 1. And number 2, when you still have shooters outside, that's going to be trouble for you. The Windsor Express, again, they're doing a great job boxing out. But again, the problem is leaving somebody open, especially like Devin Gilligan, who's coming off the bench and scoring double digits immediately. So what you got to do is you got to go man-to-man. You got to spread the defense out and make sure that whatever shots they take outside are earned, because they can't be given.
Express have the first possession of the second quarter as Anderson has the ball on the floor with them. Hamilton, Otley Jr., Patillo, and Thomas. As Thomas in traffic gets the lucky roll.
Well, sometimes, some way, you got to get those shots to go. And you know DeAndre Thomas, he's a big boy. He ain't going to hold up for nothing.
Sudbury 5 set up for their first possession. Rayson sets up to come into the game as quick pass. Contested shot off the front rim, no good. Corey Dixon misses the shot. He's lined up alongside Tate Gilligan, along with Blazik. And rounding out the 5 players on the floor, you continue to see lined up on there. It appears to be Rutherford. Jump shot, it's good from Patillo.
You see, that's how you're going to get a shot off over a big guy. You got to adjust it by way of arc.
Tate, quick shot, no good from the perimeter. Gilligan can't get the board, picked up in traffic by Otley Jr. And Otley Jr., the only returning player from the Express from last season, continues to look impressive in the starting five as Patillo goes to the high post. Guarded by Tate as Tate reaches in. That's the first personal of the second quarter. And Array coming in, a couple quick substitutions. Rayson comes in now for the Sudbury 5. Wormley comes back in for the Express.
So you see a couple of substitutions all from the backcourt. So Horace Wormley comes back in and Braylon Rayson comes in as well. So this might come down to the guards in the next matter of moments.
Down low once again, Patillo mismatch with Gilligan. Down low inside, Thomas finds Otley Jr. for the back door.
Very risky. I was about to say that was a risky pass right inside the DeAndre Thomas, but you saw there a good triangle pass right down low. It opened up for two more for Windsor.
Rayson blocked inside by Hamilton. Second chance though was good on the putback by Dixon. Corey Dixon was ready for that quick putback. Brings the lead back to single digits. Approaching 2 minutes into the second quarter, Express lead 32-24. Otley Jr. pulls up, gets the triple.
That was a risky three because once again the Windsor Express were camping out in the wings.
And the Express came in tonight fourth in three-point percentage. Continue to look pretty decent from outside tonight as that's tapped out of bounds as they'll stay on that side of the floor as the Express will inbound it.
Well, there's a couple of good reasons why they're fourth in the league when it comes to three-point shots, JP. Number one, you got confident veterans that will shoot from anywhere. For example, Ryan Anderson. He don't catch and shoot for no apparent reason. He catches and shoots there because that's his bread and butter. So you can see the confidence from beyond the arc.
Hamilton, triple, hits wide to the right on the iron. As up the floor, once again, goes the Sudbury 5 as the foul's drawn. Antoine Chandler will go to the line to shoot two. And the Express will respond with a substitution. Luke Cochran now coming in off the bench. Sudbury 5 also making some quick substitutions too for this stoppage. Lasik and Gilligan are now going to come out. Coming back in is Relaford. As now, first time we see Chandler to the stripe to shoot for two.
And Chandler's a former Express player, played last season majority of that time.
Pardon me, Tate. Apologies there. Tate is the one at the line. Apologies there. But Tate, again, still a productive player in his own right in the NBLC.
During his time in the NBLC, he's been very productive. Spent 2 years for the then Moncton Miracles from 2015 to 2017. And in addition to that, he's providing a good piece to the Sudbury 5 puzzle.
Express set up. Once again up the floor. Hamilton steps inside. Back outside Patillo. Cochran tries to get open in the low post. Inside Patillo. Rejected inside. Relaford with the block. Rayson sizes up on the outside. Cuts inside the paint. Back outside to Tate. Steps to the opening. Past Otley Jr. for the mid-range.
That's just a nice shot to get somebody off balance like that.
Approaching 9 minutes to go in the second quarter. 7-point lead for the Windsor Express still. Patillo takes it back once again in the high post. No one else is in the paint. 3-2 set up on the offensive set. Cochran calls for it in the corner. 2 on the shot clock. Wormley with the one-handed shot misses, rebounded by Rayson.
That's just a good pressure right there from Sudbury from the wing.
Tate cuts inside meanwhile and drops the N1.
You know, those off-balance shots, I have a feeling that his time in the NBA G League helped him out a little bit because, again, not only he played in the NBLC, he also played in the G League as well. Played one game for the Texas Legends and then spent the rest of the season for the Cancton Charge, the affiliate of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So it's safe to say he's picked up a couple of skills and traits from his time there.
Patillo called for the foul. First personal for him, second team foul. Anderson back onto the floor now for the Express. Hamilton comes out as Tate has a chance to complete the three-point play as the 5 continue to wake up in the mid-portion of the second quarter. Wormley takes it back up for Windsor. He'll be matched up once again with Braylon Rayson, man-to-man defense. Cochran with the pick and roll on the inside. Patillo, mid-range at the free throw line off the back rim. Otley Jr., second chance, it's good.
See, nobody was there to cut off Otley Jr. because he was on the weak side and he just swooped in when nobody expected it.
Back outside Rayson. trying to set up another shot inside out. Going inside, they decide to just go inside of Dixon for the response.
Well, they realize the Express are changing up defensively, denying any chances of getting threes to go, so now they're going right down low, which is part of their bread and butter throughout the first 3 games of the year.
Back to Patillo, meanwhile, to Anderson. Takes the contested shot. Fadeaway doesn't even draw the iron as Tate picks up the board. Tate gets the pass from Dixon. Tate to the other side, it's good.
That was a pretty silky smooth finger roll.
And Bill Jones wants a timeout. Not happy with the Fives comeback here. What was a double-digit lead a few minutes ago, just down to 2, Aaron.
Well, it's because of perseverance. You know, they miss a shot, but they're still able to get the rebound, capitalize on second chance opportunities, number 1. Number 2, when you have monsters like Tyrell Tate running up the floor, and as well Corey Dixon coming into the fold, that's just going to create some issues. So you might have some issues on one end of the floor, but one thing is for certain, Sudbury knows how to respond back with great offense.
They absolutely are, and getting to some of the error points in terms of how the season's gone so far. We mentioned it before, the Express are having the worst start in franchise history, in fact. Dead last in the power rankings heading into this week, while the Five enter this week second and having one of the best inaugural seasons in the league history.
You know, it's quite interesting, too, and remember, if Sudbury wins this game tonight, they'll tie the best start for an expansion team in league history, and the only team that done better than them will be the Brampton A's back in 2013-2014. But to get back on your point, yes, they're having a fantastic expansion season so far, and I'm sure the city of Sudbury is really enjoying their efforts so far. When you have a mixture of veterans and a majority of new players that are striking it rich like Corey Dixon and Jalen Bland, it really proves a point of how optimistic the league and the team really is. They're opening up many opportunities, and especially with a first-time coach like Logan Stutz, what more can you ask for?
What can't you ask for, indeed? We talked a bit with Logan Stutz. It's kind of exactly what he expected, as he said, quote-unquote, but 10 times the work as the first-time head coach and GM after playing so many years professionally, a former MVP of this league a few seasons ago when he played with the Niagara River Lions, as we're just a few moments away from getting back underway. Of course, you mentioned a little bit with the vets and the young guys. The vets are showing the way, as he said, but the youth is definitely helping so far this season, down just by 2 and looking to try and take the lead back here in the first half.
You know, on a side note, I'm a little bit disappointed he isn't wearing the goggles we're accustomed to in the last few years in the league.
Patillo, meanwhile, outside Cochran off the front rim. Tate gets the board in traffic. Chance to retake the lead, or at least tie it up here on this possession for the Sudbury Five. Rayson has the mismatch. Back outside Bland. Bland cuts to the basket, no good. Misses with the left hand. Wormley tries to take it up to Anderson. Anderson pulls up for the mid-range, just to the left. Second chance inside for the slam. It's Patillo.
Once again, the Five thought all the Express players were ready to run up the floor back on defense, but Patillo stayed in his position, and he just got that two-handed jam to go.
Rayson now tries to sidestep. Pulls up for the contested jump shot. Again, no good. As the ball tapped out of bounds, they say Sudbury 5 possession. So a fresh 24, make it 21 seconds on the shot clock. As back onto the game once again for the Express is going to be Addison in for Cochran. 6:37 to go in the second quarter, Aaron.
Well, how about the effort from Jalen Bland from that play? He stood right behind, and he knew he had to get his hand off one of the Express players because it went off of his body. But again, Bland was one of the main reasons why the Five have a second chance opportunity.
Bland pulls up again for 3, no good. Wormley takes the rebound, tries to rush up the floor. Again to Anderson for 3. Yes, sir!
And that's one of the main reasons why the Express are 4th when it comes from shooting beyond the arc, is that confident shooting from Ryan Anderson that's going to catch on with everybody else.
Quick shot on the other side for the 5, no good for 3. As now we have a track meet. Wormley takes it back up. Will he go back to Anderson again? No, he takes it himself through traffic. Yes, he's got it.
Once again, you got to watch out for Horace Wormley when he gets in the zone like that, because his ability to pick up with speed and drive right down the lane will burn you if you don't have a hand on him.
And making another 7-0 run for the Windsor Express. Tate stripped away by Anderson as that's tapped out of bounds. That will stay on that side of the floor as Marty will come onto the floor rather. little bit of a playful mood with Grandy Glaze as they both come into the game for the respective sides.
And you could see how the bench is hyped up after that defensive play, JP. They may not have the ball, but keep in mind that's the type of defensive effort you need if you want to come back and pick up a W.
Cutting around Tate. Avoids 2 reach-ins. Makes the fall-away mid-range jump shot.
How about that control from Tyrell Tate to get that J to go? That was brilliant.
And it looks like we got a technical on the floor now.
I would assume so. I didn't see what was going on, JP, so we're just going to have to rely on the good old voice of Mark Knight to tell us.
Looking for the official word, but there is a technical. It appears on the floor now for the Sudbury 5 side. They give it to Tate, who is falling out of bounds, pulling up for the fadeaway mid-range. Of course, there is a new rule change as part of the NBLC, and technical fouls that we may have talked about a little bit are part of that. Indirect technical fouls are part of those changes as well as direct fouls. Indirect technicals are administered when a player hangs off the rim, delays the game, or a bench to score, mainly a bench personnel involving substitutions or assistant coaches. Direct technicals are given for taunting and trash talking, disrespecting, addressing officials, as well as constant and continuous complaining after warnings or unsportsmanlike behavior. The technical situation as well changes the whole overall system as well as the ball's tapped out of bounds. As now with those, of course, there is up to 3 technicals allowed. 2 indirect technicals or 1 direct, or 3 indirect technicals for a player. 2 direct technicals will disqualify a player as well.
And yeah, keep in mind that goes double for the coaches. It's quite interesting to see the 3 technicals and then you're out rule, because it's like baseball. 3 strikes, you're out, right? But in addition to that, it just brings up more of the playing chances for the players. But they got to keep in mind, just because they're getting an additional chance to play, it doesn't mean they have to burn them.
Both free throws are good after a Sudbury 5 foul, personal foul in fact, as now the lead's up to 10, and now we got an air stoppage.
It's going to be the shot clock again, JP. Well, while we're talking about it, let's break away for a moment and talk about what's going on around the league. We got another game going on. KW Titans playing against the St. John Riptide, and at the moment it looks like the Titans are running away with that 99-74 with under 5 minutes to go. Keep in mind they were supposed to play against PEI tomorrow, but that game has been postponed.
Of course, inclement weather coming in. That game postponed until February 28, 2019. You gotta love weather in Canada sometimes, indeed, as we're about to get back in our action.
Now remember, too, last season, the Island Storm had that same affair, too, when we had that snowstorm here in Windsor, so they had to postpone that game until later on, and they were supposed to play the London Lightning the day after. They postponed that game to the final game of the year.
Offensive foul as Glaze draws the hard screen. Otley Jr. hits the floor, Wormley, as now the Express get the possession on back, up by 10 once again. For Glaze, it's his first personal, team's 4th personal of the second quarter.
This is something I don't like to see. You're playing off of aggression. After that direct technical foul, JP, Sudbury 5 are trying to play with a fire in their belly. They got to get back to their game plan.
Wormley, top shot, no good. Sudbury 5 take it back up the floor. Up the floor, Bland. Steps back for the triple, again no good. Second chance for Williams Jr., though, is good.
Once again, when you have a guy like Dexter Williams just waking up and rising up to the occasion, that spells trouble. Even with the double team, once he got his hands on the ball, that didn't mean nothing to him. He just followed through and got the shot to go.
Armardi pulls up the mid-range, no good. Rebounded again by the Sudbury 5. Williams Jr. tries to go coast to coast. Finds the man inside to Racing, but taps it out of bounds. And at this point, the Sudbury 5 have been up and down in terms of how the game has gone. In fact, it's been a game of runs so far.
Absolutely, but they got to calm down on the way they move the ball, because that prompts in a lot of turnovers and offensive fouls too. So you got to find yourself, get back into the system, swing the ball around in short motions, and just find a way to get some shots.
Isolation offense leads to the play inside for Addison for the bucket.
You see, that all happened because the 5 were too clustered down in the post, and that's not a good sign. You could have a triple team down on the post, but remember, you're still going to have some options from the wing or even outside there.
Addison last game, 8 rebounds, 6 points on the road against KW. Once again, backdoor cut inside Glaze. Back outside of Racing, 4 on the shot clock. Again, steps back, foot on the line. It's no good again from the perimeter. as the Express get possession again. You can see how hyped that bench is.
Absolutely. They're liking the way things are going right now, but you got to keep in mind, they were up by 20 at halftime, and that diminished. So they got to keep their mindset into the game.
Timeout called on the floor once again as the Express lead by 10 in tonight's matchup. Of course, both of these teams with veteran leadership as part of their squad. 7 players with NBLC experience. As talked about a bit with the Express, 6 so far for the Sudbury 5. But one of the main things to get back to that 0-3 start for Bill Jones, he has never seen an 0-3 start, ever, as a head coach or as a player. Remember, he was a player back in the 1980s and 1990s and has coached a couple different franchises in the NBLC alone.
Absolutely. So this is a matter of a call for the Windsor Express. They're well composed in this game. They had to take care of some situations. They got to take care of some problems with the team, and I think they're doing it well so far. You even mentioned it too. There were some of the key plans they had to take care of prior to tonight's game. Yeah,
the 3-point attempts so far from the 5, just about everything's been contested. They've been absolutely played smash mouth defense on everything on the perimeter. For the Sudbury 5, how do you try and defend something like that?
Well, you isolate. You go on the isolation, because you got to keep in mind, every time you've seen the Sudbury 5 go on the double or a triple team, that's to their comeuppance, because they're always an Express player either open down to the lane or open right down outside. So you really got to put a hand up. In addition to that, if you do have to double team up top, just be ready for either a sudden pick or just an alternate option.
10-point game, under 4 minutes to go, 3:24 in the second quarter. As Wormley passing down low, DeAndre Thomas on the floor with Addison. On with Armati, Richard Armati with the 3, gets it!
See, once you get your defender off their feet, it just opens up more opportunities. Now, personally, I would have liked it if Armati just stepped in a little closer to the basket, but nonetheless, he got the shot that goes. Same with Tate.
Contested 2-pointer is good, so a quick response. But the Express continue to explode on the scoreboard. 52 points in the second quarter. In the first half overall, as Thomas gets it to 54.
Once again, we're seeing a lot of promise from DeAndre Thomas. I mean, remember the last couple of years he had to deal with injuries. That's why he was sidelined in the NBLC. But this is one of the main reasons he's been averaging 12 points, JP, is just his no-nonsense performance down in the post. And it's really showing in the first 3-4 games.
Foul against the Express, which will lead to a baseline inbound here. Just the second, make it third personal on the Express. This time, Ryan Anderson, his first personal. So 2:36 to go in the first half. Adam Blazek on the floor alongside Tate. Glaze. He pulls up for the shot, no good. Gilligan comes in for the double team. And on the floor to round out the 5, it's going to be Relaford. Tate falls back on the contested shot on Armati, no good. Here comes the Sudbury 5 on offense. Blazek outside, Gilligan, contested 3 off the front rim once again. Tapped out to Blazek. Fresh 24 seconds. Shot clock is still frozen as the whistle's called on the floor to reset the shot clock.
And as they try to fix that, let's just go back to the fact that the Express were able to contain Gilligan on that last shot. Remember, he was just firing those shots off like gangbusters in the first quarter. They finally got the message. They're containing somebody in the contestant shot. And like you said, JP, most of those shots from beyond the arc have been contested.
And they continue to work out the technical issue here with 2:07 to go in the second quarter as the Express continue to lead by 13. Once again, we like to remind you that at halftime, both Aaron Sanders and I will be back on the camera for tonight's Booster Juice halftime report.
And don't forget, too, we're going to have a word or two from Jordan Ferris from courtside as well, the third member of our crew.
Yes, indeed. As we're back into action, 13 on the shot clock. Gilligan spins inside to Glaze. Steps back with 6 on the shot clock. Spins over Thomas off the back rim. Anderson nearly stripped away on the rebound. He tries to charge up the floor. Under 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Express go back down to the half-court set. Sets the pick for Thomas. Wormley. Back to Armati. Pass out of bounds. Taps out of bounds, in fact. as that will be back to the Sudbury 5.
You see, those type of baseline moves you would expect from Maurice Jones. We saw that last week. Mind you, he was playing with the St. John's edge, but that one wouldn't work out for him because Wormley tried to do a little bit too much on that play.
Sudbury 5 back with the ball with 90 seconds to go in the second quarter, trying to get back into a rhythm as Tate steps back for the mid-range. Off the front rim with the foot on the line. Scramble for the rebound as whistle called, as that will go against the Sudbury 5 on the rebound attempt from Anderson.
You see, they tried to dig down and try to force that turnover again, but Ryan Anderson was right down on the deck trying to get the ball back. It was just a little too much for the Sudbury 5 to bear.
Foul goes against Adam Blazik, as now that's the 15th foul for the 5. Still a couple away from getting into the bonus. Express take it back up once again. Anderson tapped out of bounds by Blazik with 1:10 to go and 13 seconds on the shot clock. Anderson has looked pretty well so far in this game so far offensively, especially on the pull-up mid-range jumpers.
Well, remember, he's looking good this season as well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been able to pick up the shots. And keep in mind, JP, coming into tonight's game, 330 points away from the big 1,000.
Fadeaway 3, no good meanwhile. Couldn't add an extra 3 points towards that total as Blazik able to find Glaze. Over Thomas misses, Addison gets the board. And another miss forced by the hard defense by the Express tonight. Wormley will slow it back down under 45 seconds to go in the first half. Wormley steps back, gives it back to Anderson, down low Thomas. Amarty calls for it, Thomas draws the whistle, counted and the foul. No, wait a minute, it looks like they're going to say the other direction offensive foul call.
Now, that foul could have gone either way, JP, but again, that's a crying shame. One of those perks when you're a big guy trying to get yourself in and attack the basket.
So the foul's overcalled as the substitution. Otley Jr. comes in for Thomas for the final 32.3 seconds.
Again, that foul could have gone either way.
It could have absolutely gone either way as we're back under action. 24 seconds to go in the second quarter. About an 8-second difference shot clock and game clock. Glaze sets the pick for Blazik. Steps through defense. Tied on up, jump ball as that possession arrow goes back to the Sudbury 5 with 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Okay, with 5 seconds on the shot clock, expect for them to get 2 picks off, find somebody outside, and just put a shot up. And mind you, Devin Gilligan's still in the game.
Logan Stutz has called timeout, so he knows that it's important to try and carry some kind of momentum into the locker room with your team down double digits.
Well, absolutely. I've been looking at Logan Stutz's playbook. I would expect him to go back to the three-pointer, like I said. Find somebody to get a double pick off for Devin Gilligan, or as I call it, the elevator doors play. Have him branch out down the side and put the shot up immediately.
And if you're Bill Jones right now, what do you think he's right now maybe thinking adjustment-wise? Because your team is doing very good right now. You're hitting most of your goals right now. What do you try and do to try and make sure you keep the momentum into the locker rooms and try and have that emphasized before you go into the locker rooms to try and clean up anything else?
Play hard defense and don't throw anything away on the offensive end, because keep in mind, they might be up in double digits, but keep in mind, they were up 20 at halftime the last go-around against the 5, and nobody wants to experience those overtones again.
Timeout's about to finish up here on the floor. 54-41, once again your score here in the second quarter for the Windsor Express over the Sudbury 5. Here in the National Basketball League of Canada, final score official now is the KW Titans have beaten the St. John Riptide 107-84.
Well, KW Titans looking real good right now. They picked up a good win against Windsor by 12 a few nights ago, and now this big win over at the Harbor Station. It's going to bring up a lot of confidence. Cavell Johnson's squad's doing a great job, but as for Nelson Taroba's St. John Riptide team, they got to bounce back. I mean, remember, the Hurricanes, they lost their first couple of games, too, before going up against the Riptide, and they were been able to bounce back. But once again, this Riptide team has a lot of experience, especially when it comes to those two players, as Chuck Miller mentioned in his cool stats in a week, and Chris Early and Brenda Arrington. But once again, it takes a whole team effort.
Back underway, 4 seconds still on the shot clock. Cutting inside, it's good for Bland.
You see, that was just 2 easy points given up by the Express because they were too cluttered up.
Shot clock is off. Otley Jr. to Armarty as they knock it out of bounds with 0.6 seconds to go in the first half.
They might put some time back onto the clock, about an even second or so. I mean, I think they should.
And we'll see if they do so here. Logan Stutz already telling them, go down the floor, prepare for what could be a half-court shot. Blazek just gives it in for the inbound. The Sudbury 5 don't go for the shot as Relaford goes to the bench. As after one half of play, the Windsor Express lead 54-43 over the Sudbury 5.
You know, not a bad effort, not a bad effort. Sudbury found their way to come back in the second quarter, but it's been all Windsor Express. They were able to gain momentum from that. Now it's a matter of see what they have to talk about when it comes to going in the locker room at half.
And now let's go to our sideline reporter, Jordan Ferris, as he's set up along the sidelines after what was a strong first half for the Express. Jordan? We apologize for that there, as we'll get to him as soon as we can. As now 54-43, once again the score at halftime. We'll take a quick break. You're watching the Windsor Express Network from the WFCU Center and the National Basketball League of Canada.
Okay, yeah. All right, just tell them they gotta have a meeting first.
Somebody, and then everybody walk past them.
Okay. Right now? Oh, okay. So headed into half, it is a 54-43 point game for the Express. But as we know from game 1 of the season, a lead against the Sudbury 5 isn't that safe, even if it is as big as it is. Now the team has looked a lot different than they did in game 1. They've been a lot tighter defensively. They've been going after loose balls a lot more aggressively. And just on the transition, their speed has been higher. It's something Coach Jones has been pushing all game. He's been telling the guys to keep it going on the transition. Don't slow down, because every time they slow down, Sudbury's able to get back on their defensive footing and can stop the plays. As well, on defense, Jones is still not satisfied with everything he sees. He wants a little more communication out there and just expects the guys to be in position a lot quicker than they are. That's all for me here at half side. I'll send it back up to the guys.
All right, here we are again, back up in the media booth. Thank you very much, Jordan, for the good insights here coming for the first half. But nice game so far, like we said, JP, but still a long half to go. If you're the Windsor Express, you got to be happy with the game plan. If you're the Sudbury 5, you got to really find some answers right now, because they're contesting you from outside.
Yeah, the Express are hitting their game plan to a T right now, taking away the perimeter shots, able to box out and get aggressive rebounds, possession after a possession to force one and dones up the floor for the Sudbury 5. As well, so far, being able to take care of the little things, defend the corner shot, and everything's just come together the way it needs to. Plus, the bench seems to have been able to step up, especially defensively, in the first half.
You know, Devin Gilligan was just firing on all cylinders from his shots in the first quarter, but the Windsor Express were able to contain him, which is good news. And in addition to that, you're seeing a lot more action down the post. Juan Patillo getting those easy shots. DeAndre Thomas, even though putting a little too much physicality in, he's been able to get those shots to go too. And in addition to that, you swing it outside to Ryan Anderson, who's a very confident shooter. It goes to show that the veterans are working out. And in addition to that, there are a couple of players that are really getting into the Windsor Express system as well.
Yeah, right now we're seeing a bit of a different lineup once again we talked about. Armardi off the bench is helping them offensively. Otley Jr. is doing what he did in last year and showed that he can do with big minutes, and he's been doing in the starting 5 tonight. be able to go for rebounds, second chance points, as well as play aggressive defense. And that's been really helping them. I think that kind of adjustment is currently very much working for the Windsor Express for what they need for this season. The question is, can they keep it up in the second half? That has been the issue for a lot of the games, having the conditioning and consistency. Are they going to be having the same conditioning for the second half to keep this double-digit lead?
A lot of people usually see this as a setback, losing the first 3 games. We already mentioned on the telecast it's the worst start in franchise history for the Windsor Express. But you look at the other positive side of history, Sudbury 5 wants to tie history tonight. So when you look at it, what is Logan Stutz saying to his crew at halftime now?
I think right now what he's probably saying at halftime right now is, you guys need to wake up. The offensive sets right now, we need to clean things up. They've been trying to increase the ball movement. Logan Stutz said he was going to insert some new sets tonight, and they're not working. He's got to find a way to get his team towards what you said before, isolation offense, try and open up the perimeter somehow, maybe try and take more plays inside, maybe have some more consistent shots so you have the Express ready for expecting an inside shot. Instead, you kick it back out and spread the floor. Try and go back to the outside. They have not spread the floor much at all tonight, it seemed. When they tried to go inside, the Express were able to just box in because they knew that was their last resort. So you need to find a way to get the Express off their feet defensively. You also right now defensively on your side have to find a way to get out of foul trouble a little bit, nearly getting into the bonus both quarters the Express did. And second, you got to make sure you get things cleaned up in terms of allowing a lot of the mid-range shots, and especially inside. You got to try and lock down the defense for the Express and get them off their game. You did it for part of the first quarter with the run back to a 2-point game. You need to do it again.
You know, it's quite ironic because remember, the Sudbury 5, we're known for taking those chances of shooting from outside, and now they're being contained. But you mentioned all those good points. If you have to pick one of the players from the Sudbury 5 to really step up and bring this team back, who could it be?
Right now, in terms of who needs to step up, right now, I think Bland, because he has been ice cold. He was one of the main reasons why the Express lost that game. 20-point blown lead, 43 points for Bland. He has been nearly an 0 from the field so far tonight. If they can get someone like Bland step up tonight to try and get the scoring back together, as well as get Gilligan back to his game like he was in the first quarter, as well as get Tate into a rhythm like he was for parts of that first quarter and parts of the second quarter, I think the 5 can come back into this game. They need a multi-pointed comeback and multiple players to step up, not just one.
And we've seen this happen before, but keep in mind too, Jalen Bland, for a guy that's the leading scorer in the league right now, you mentioned it, he's ice cold, so you got to step it up. Windsor Express, on the other hand, Bill Jones, it's safe to say he isn't content about the performance because the game isn't over yet. What do you got to do to ensure that they'll get their first W of the year?
I think the main reason he's not that content with this first half, second quarter, every single time they have collapsed. He talked about it early in the week, talked about it a little bit pre-game by us. They need to make sure the conditioning is there to make sure they don't collapse. And if they do, they need to be sure they have the system ready for the bench. So expect maybe some more playing time for Richard or Marty. Expect some playing time for a couple guys we haven't seen. Reggie Hamilton step up a bit more off the bench, as well as try and get the ball to Batillo scoring-wise. You got to be prepared for those adjustments. Also, lock down the three-point line still. It's working so far. Be prepared for them to stretch the floor to try and break that.
Could have said it better myself. All right there, that's a story for you. At the half, it's the Express 54 and the 543. We're going to step aside here for a few moments, and we'll be back for the call of the second half from the WFCU Center in a matter of moments. You're watching the Windsor Express Basketball Network.
It starts here, where Jamie lost 145 pounds and became a leader, inspiring others to get active. Where Cheryl didn't let her fear of water keep her kids from learning to swim. Where Valerie got fit after retiring, and at 90 years old, she's still dancing to the beat. Vitality, courage, transformation. A healthier you starts here. What will your story be? Join the YMCA today.
Welcome back, everyone, to the WFCU Center for more coverage of Windsor Express basketball on the Windsor Express Network. The Windsor Express lead 54-43 as we're just moments away from the start of the third quarter. Justin Prince alongside Aaron Sanders. Once again, our sideline reporter tonight is Jordan Ferris. We talked a little bit on what some of the keys were for the second half, especially with how this game's going. The Express so far tonight in terms of shooting, looking pretty good. 49%, forcing the Sudbury 5 to just 41% shooting and 20% from deep.
Well, that's what you got to expect, too. I mean, you're coming out with a vengeance, so you're going to be shooting with a vengeance as well. In addition to that, they're doing a real good job on the defensive end, like we mentioned at the halftime show. It's just a matter of them getting things done for the next 24. As you can see there, the quick huddle near the key, they realize they got a mission. They got to get the job done. They got to finish the JOB.
And the person leading the job so far in scoring for the Windsor Express is Juan Patillo. 12 points, 5 rebounds, also 11 points as well for Anthony Otley Jr. with another 5 rebounds. Ryan Anderson, a near double-double already. 9 points, 8 defensive rebounds for Ryan Anderson. Leading the scoring for the Sudbury 5. Off the bench is Terrell Tate with 13 points in 12 minutes.
Absolutely. Once again, it's a big man's game when you try to take care of it, too. But once again, the Sudbury 5 know a thing or two about handling their bench. Same with the Windsor Express, so it's pretty much even game, but now you got to contain the top scorers.
And right now, he has been the only player in double digits. Jalen Brand, 8 points, 2 for 5 from deep as well in the starting 5. The bench, outside of Tate, just 8 combined points with Gilligan and Williams. And 0 for 7 they're trying to recover from 3 in the second quarter. 4 of 13 in the first quarter as well.
Overall, remember, from beyond the arc, they're shooting 20%. Not a good performance, but keep in mind, they're not taking those open shots. It's because they were contested. It goes back to the defense, so you really got to swing the ball around and probably look for answers by a way of Tate, or try to get Grandy Glaze back into the game, or somebody like Relaford to step in. This is going to become a big boy game in the next half or so, so it's going to be quite interesting to see what they adjusted while they were in their clubhouse at halftime.
And a clock issue here for the start of the third quarter here at the WFCU Center. On the floor for the Windsor Express, it will be Patillo Wormley alongside Brian Addison. Also lined up with Ryan Anderson and once again, Otley Jr. to round out the 5 on the floor. A bit of a different look, though, for the Sudbury 5. They got Gilligan on the floor, off the bench right now to start off this second half.
But remember, this was a guy that was able to open up for those shots early on in the first quarter, despite only 6 points. So maybe they're using that as one of those leeways to get some shots going.
Once again, having a bit of a delay here for the start of the second half. Windsor Express 0 for 3 to start the season, 3-0 for the Sudbury 5. And we got another quick whistle once again. So the shot clock has moved an extra 2 seconds here, and now it looks like we might start off with a fresh full 12 minutes possibly here, I think.
You know, you might as well round it back up to 24 and put it up to 12 minutes because nothing happened throughout those 4 seconds, so I think it'd be right to restart everything. And now we're back.
They'll start with 19 on the shot clock, 11:52 now to go in the third quarter to start things off here for the second half. Anderson, guarded by Bland on the outside. Wormley steps back. Tries to cut back towards the three-point line. Mid-range jump shot. Patillo with one on the shot clock.
Once again, it's one of those good ways to start off the second half. You had Juan Patillo spot up for one of those shots near the elbow.
30 seconds into the second half as Braylon Racing gets the pick now from Dixon. Bland on the floor alongside Gilligan. Relaford rounds out the 5 as Gilligan has the mismatch. Back outside. Racing for the triple. It's good.
Once again, one of those rare good looks from beyond the arc, and Racing was there to answer the call.
Racing able to get the lead back down to 10. As now Wormley tries to step back with the guard. And a whistle called. And a defensive foul for a hold. We're going to have an inbound with 13 on the shot clock, make it 14. So first personal for the Sudbury 5 of the quarter already. And that was something that wasn't too big of an issue, but Relaford as well as Dixon as well as Blazek had 2 personal fouls each as the quick bucket's good.
Ryan Anderson right off from the inbound, just getting the shot to go.
Ryan Anderson continuing to produce tonight in the starting 5. Inside, Bland doesn't get the lucky roll as it's picked up by Addison. Wormley directs Ockley Jr. to the left side. Patillo.
Yeah, that's a travel.
Yes, slid the right foot against the floor. That's going to go back to Sudbury. About 90 seconds into the third quarter here at the WFCU Center on the Windsor Express Network here in National Basketball League of Canada action. As an air stoppage of play, some debris has apparently fallen onto the floor. As now Rayson will take it back up with Wormley guarding up the floor. Braylon Rayson has a triple so far to start off the quarter for the scoring for Sudbury. 7 total points. Tries to add a second triple, no good. Picked up by Anderson, as that will get him towards the double-double. In fact, will get him to 11 points rather, and 9 rebounds.
Well, that's not bad. I mean, that's a great omen to start off here in the second half. But once again, the veteran knows how to get it done in numbers.
Ockley Jr. spins down the baseline, finds Wormley. Wormley to the basket, no good with 3 on the shot clock. Here comes Sudbury. Bland will take it up. Tries to go to the outside. Gilligan stepping in. Rayson off the left foot, gets it.
Once again, the one thing the Sudbury 5 know how to do is maintain that balance when they try to get a shot off. That was just good footing from Rayson.
And not only that, good awareness to make sure he got the shot off without getting a travel. As the battle inside for the rebound picked up Dixon, as Addison couldn't grab the second chance. Sudbury trying to set back up. 3 men, 2 in, 3 out. As kickball violation, that will reset the shot clock to 14. So the Sudbury 5 getting some quick buckets here right now, but the Express quickly responding to some of these possessions.
And that prompts a lot of trouble because, again, Sudbury 5 is known for their speed, so that's why they've been able to respond quickly, but they can't get those shots off immediately as we get another 3 from Braylon Rayson.
Put him in the double-digit club. That's now 10 for Rayson, his second triple of the third quarter. As another shot clock issue here. So we're going to have a stoppage of play with 9:20 to go in the third quarter, with the Windsor Express having the possession. And getting to Rayson, of course, has experience with Bill Jones' system from last season, heading towards the Sudbury 5 via trade during the offseason. And so far, it's been looking really good for Sudbury for scoring.
Absolutely. Once again, one of those hot shooters, and he came off the bench as well last season. He's a really good shooter. He could really deliver the damage if need be. He did that the last time here in Windsor, so he's really getting back into that grind.
Currently 4th in the league coming into tonight in points per game, 7th in assists, 9th in free throw percentage, as another foul is hitting the floor is Anderson. So Sudbury are going to have the foul, or a second personal of the quarter. So that resets the shot clock again to 14 with 9:14 to go in the third. Corey Dixon, his third personal on the foul. Wormley gets the possession as shot clock is back to normal. Anderson for the outside triple, no good. Rayson picks up the board. And Sudbury now getting off to Relaford. Patillo reaches in, called for the foul, as that will be a foul against Patillo, it appears. And that was an aggressive foul there too.
Once again, it's one of the main things the Windsor Express really need to be careful about is just those hard fouls, because they're going to get them each and every time. You can't expect them to get away with it, so they got to calm down.
Resets the shot clock again to 14. Quick basket, no good from Bland on the outside.
Really risky front tap down there.
And Sudbury shooting a lot of contested threes at times tonight, as Wormley tries to pass it to Patillo's offensive foul for a push-off.
Now, earlier we seen DeAndre Thomas getting in trouble with that, and now we're seeing Juan Patillo getting into it. It's just too much. I mean, the Windsor Express, they're trying to do all they can to keep this lead going on, but they got to realize that if they're within the distance, you can't do stuff like that.
Rayson pulls up, no good. And another contested shot, but the Express knew that one was coming. Assistant coach is saying close up as soon as he got the ball on the inbound. Wormley cuts inside meanwhile and gets the quick 2. Wormley continuing to show why he's been so successful in the NBLC scoring.
Absolutely. It's because he was able to find a space, use the left side, and just cut right.
Another triple, no good from Bland. Express trying to take advantage, get back to double digits. To Patillo inside, the pump up.
Once again, good response following that offensive foul.
Up to an 11-point lead as the Sudbury 5 push. Bad shot, second chance, Bland no good. Battle for the rebound. Addison gets the one-handed rebound. And a frustration foul from Sudbury as Logan Stutz not happy on the sideline now with the shot selection from Racing there.
Well, keep in mind, I don't think it was just based off a bad selection. I think he got slapped on there. That's why he threw that errant shot. They wanted a foul, and on that other end of that play, JP, I think that was based off of aggression.
Yeah, Dixon now going to the bench. Glaze will come back into the game. 7:47 to go in the third quarter. Wormley will get the quick inbound once again for the Windsor Express. Once again, Racing on the guard. Anderson directing traffic from the left side corner. Patillo pulls up for the mid-range jump shot. At the free throw line, gets it.
So 4 quick points from Juan Patillo. He gets a little bit of his own run. And you see the Express up 13.
And Juan Patillo still continues to have an efficient season shooting-wise, showing why he shoots about 45%. Falling back, Racing. Contested shot, no good. Second chance, put back up and in.
Once again, it's all kismet once you get that rebound. When the ball is wide up in the air and everybody's tapping it, it's a matter of who has the better eyes that clamp down that ball and just finish it off.
Travis Relford with the putback. Wormley with the triple, it's good. Wormley continuing up the scoring effort from him tonight. Travel up as Gilliland called for the travel.
Once again, that's the last place where you want to commit something like that, right down in the corner.
Tyrell Tate now coming into the game now for the Sudbury 5. So coming out is going to be Jalen Bland. As the Express continue to hold down the accelerator, leading by 14 points, pulling back up to double digits after a lead that shrunk down to as low as about 7 points in this second half so far. Wormley, quick pass, finds Addison for the slam.
It was all because Juan Patillo set up a beautiful screen near the free throw line.
Quick pass down the floor for the N1 Glaze.
Once again, you can't allow them to get easy shots like that. That's why Anderson had to tag him himself, because you do not want to allow any extra shots like that. And once again, with the game speed, you got to find some way to put it in your favor.
Ryan Anderson called for his second team's third foul of the third quarter. 3 fouls as well for the Sudbury 5 so far in the quarter. As well, a bit of a delay here as the Sudbury 5 elected to take a coaches conference before the free throw opportunity. So Logan Stutz already trying to make as many adjustments as he can. Dixon already coming off the bench now to talk with Braylon Racing. So a bit of a warning now from the officials for a possible delay of game as Glaze will miss the N1 opportunity. Wormley takes it back up after the missed N1 opportunity from Glendy Glaze. Wormley back out outside Anderson. Addison tries to set up for the pick and fade. Wormley decides to shoot from the parking lot. It's no good. Glaze hustles for the rebound.
Not a wise shot because Bland and Glaze was right out there chasing down the rebound. Correction, that was Tate and Glaze.
Once again, Relaford inside, gets it to go. Relaford again in traffic, brings it back down to 12. Halfway to go in the third quarter. Express going with the half-court slower tempo in this third quarter. Outside Anderson. Outside once again, jump shot Addison, no good, picked up Gilligan for the board. Gilligan tries to rush back up, hard screen, sets up the 3, it's good. Relaford with the triple. And the lead's back down to single digits on a beautifully drawn play. Express continue to set up now with the 4-out, 1-in formation setup on offense. Wormley draws the reach in from Racing as that will be foul number 4 of the quarter for Sudbury. Center stoppage, DeAndre Thomas, Richard Armardi coming off the bench. Coming off the floor now is Otley Jr. and Addison.
You see, it's a good thing. Well, you see DeAndre Thomas and Marty returning to the game. The Express only has 2 team fouls. That's the good news. But the question is, can they contain their physical power and branch out?
Anderson after the pick, misses the 3 off the back rim. Nearly bounces out of bounds as Relaford charges up. It's stripped away by Patillo. Here comes Anderson. Stolen away on the bad pass by Gilligan. Gilligan able to find Rayson, who's able to find the play inside, drawing the late whistle. Thomas with the foul. So DeAndre Thomas called for the personal, and the fans are not happy.
Well, let me tell you why the fans aren't happy as you hear the boo birds. His feet were planted, but remember, he was near the semicircle, which, again, could have went either way. If DeAndre's feet was still moving, that would have been a foul on him. So now you're looking at a matter of what angle have you seen that foul from?
Media timeout called on the floor. Windsor Express leads 69-60. Here in the third quarter, just past halfway in the quarter, and what has been a strong game from Windsor overall.
Absolutely, it's been a strong game, but once again, Sudbury's been able to come back because of their speed. That's been the name of the game for the past 3 games, and they're really getting right back at it. They're taking wise shots. They're shooting outside again, which the Express haven't found some answers for. So they really got to capitalize on that. But once again, Sudbury 5. You see Grandy Glaze waking up. Tyrell Tate stepping in there. And Jalen Bland, once again, a little bit quiet. Because it's been the Braylon Racing show from outside.
And right now, on the other side, Logan Stutz and Kyle Beers are trying to say, what are we supposed to do? The triples have not been falling. The contested shots have not been falling. And Bill Jones's defensive system tonight, in terms of locking down the perimeter and making it hard to drive inside, has completely thrown them off in terms of any consistency.
Well, you got to look at this. The way I see it, you got to try to look for some good picks and a good backdoor option. You got to keep moving. And by that, you got to keep on moving off the ball and on the ball, too. Because that's the way you're going to get yourself to closer baskets. If you're able to find some opportunities, you take it. You don't have to shoot outside all the time. Just try to take the contact and try to go to the line. That's one way you get back at it. But once again, Sudbury hasn't been very keen on the free throw line this season. Only 60%. That's second last into the league. So they really got to find some confident shooters and some people that could really drive inside, like Grandy Glaze, who's off to the line.
And Glaze to the line to shoot for 2. As mentioned, 9th on the season from the stripe. 2nd free throw missed in a row. On the floor with him now, Blazek comes off the bench for the Sudbury 5. They already have players set up in the corners on the other side. 2nd free throw is good this time. As the Express get the possession back, they still lead 69-61 with 5 minutes to go in the third.
Once again, you're seeing that double-digit lead evaporate. You got to find some ways to make some adjustments.
And now we got another whistle for an elbow.
It's going to be an offensive foul. Once again, this has been one of the problems for the Windsor Express. Too much power, even off the ball.
And they weren't having these kind of fouls in the first half. They're starting to pile them up now in this third quarter, up to 5 team fouls now.
Well, they're seeing the Sudbury 5 getting back right into it, so they're just trying to bully them. But it's just a little too much for them to bear. That's why they're getting the whistles.
Rejected by Armani on the drive by Bland. Anderson slows it back down. Wormley now sets up pick and roll. Glaze on the help defense. Lost on the map. Wormley misses. Tate gets the board. Going down the floor. Intercepted by Armani on the bad pass.
That was not a wise pass.
That one wasn't either. Rutherford with the steal and the put in.
You know what? Relaford still had his eye on the ball. That's why he stayed back there. Because, again, those cross-court passes ain't going to come to fruition.
Windsor Express trying to recover from the bad turnover stretch. Thomas, quick bucket, it's good.
Well, that puts a fork in the run, but once again, you got to find some way to get back and ensure that nobody is allowed any open shots.
Glaze, Blazek, Rutherford, Tate, and Bland on the floor. Another whistle and another foul. A travel caught on the floor as Hamilton comes in.
So Hamilton's coming back in. You're seeing a majority of some good shooters in Marty and Hamilton as well. And you got the forceful 2, known as DeAndre Thomas and Juan Patillo into this game. You add that up with Horace Wormley. then that might be a good decision. They just got to swing the ball around.
Marty trying to swing it out to Wormley, sets up the play once again. Once again, pick and roll with Thomas. Patillo from a sweet spot, off the back rim. 3:30 to go in the third quarter. The Five trying to push the tempo. Back and forth on the perimeter they go. Mid-range jump shot this time, though, no good. Wormley able to outsize Glaze for the rebound. And an error, quick whistle. Blazek called for the reach-in. That's the 15th foul for the Five.
It's been a while since we've seen a foul for the Five, considering what the Express have been doing lately, but the Five have been very wise with their foul choices, because once again, the majority of those fouls were just on breakaways. It goes back to that rule where you don't want to allow those open shots, and again, wise fouls from the Five, aggressive fouls for the Express.
Racing comes back into the game after the foul from Blazek to put him in foul trouble. And once again, Anthony Otley Jr. on the floor now for the Express. Thomas matched up in the post with Glaze. 12 on the shot clock to the corner. The shot no good from Otley Jr.
Very risky pass, but he was able to get that shot to go. It's just bad news he didn't get it go.
Gilligan, transition three, meanwhile misses as Hamilton grabs it. Up to NASCAR-style pace. Hamilton across to Armarty. Armarty for the triple off the front rim. Under 3 minutes to go in the third. Racing, corner for the triple. Gilligan, no good. Battle inside, Glaze for the putback, no good. Still hustling, able to find Bland. Second chance, Racing, bucket off the front rim. Blazek trying to strip it on away. Double team now on Otley Jr.
The resiliency from both clubs after that play.
Blazek trying to catch up with Hamilton as a quick foul is called. It's going to go against Sudbury. And Jalen Brand not happy there, as that's going to go against him, I believe.
Remember, he's been having a rough night scoring-wise, so he's got to realize he's got to find more ways to get back into this game, and fouling him like that isn't one of them.
Jalen Brand, his third personal, team sixth foul. Reggie Hamilton to the line to shoot for two once again. And able to drain the first free throw. Continues to stay at 100% from the stripe so far in the season. Express in the first half from the stripe looked very well as well. 100% from the stripe in the first half. Hamilton drains two. The lead's back up to 10. Adam Blazek will now direct the traffic. Small ball lineup for the Sudbury Five still. Able to find Rayson. 13 on the shot clock. Glaze cuts inside. Misforced again by Thomas.
It's just his presence that intimidated him.
Down the floor quickly. Otley Jr. rejected by Bland. Here comes Glaze. Going for the right-handed slam. Yes.
Yeah, DeAndre Thomas had to slow down right there because he knew if he put a hand on him, that would have been called a foul. So he just let him get that easy, too.
1:40 to go in the third quarter. Wormley continues to wind down the clock. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Wormley, cross court, nearly intercepted. Otley Jr. to Thomas. One on the shot clock, gets it. And the broken play still leads to 2 points.
It was very close from getting intercepted, but they found a way to get it back in.
Gilligan now tries to drive by Armarty. Stops baseline. Glaze pulls up for three, doesn't get the banker to roll. Wormley now tries to get away from Blazek, approaching 1 minute to go in the third. The Express continue to play to their style right now with this lead. Try to wind down the clock. Thomas spins in, draws the weight, whistle, count it, and the foul.
You could tell he wanted that. He wanted that right from the get-go. After so many times of getting burned, he finally got that spin move and that powerful finish to go with him. Now he's going to go and try to make that three-point play.
Jalen Brand called for the personal. Wormley comes out. First time tonight we see Marcus Jones onto the floor. The former Windsor Lancer will run the point guard spot for the rest of the third quarter. Meanwhile, Thomas to the line to shoot for two. So far this season, just under 69% as he completes the N1. 13-point lead. Also onto the floor now for Sudbury. Williams comes back in. Dexter Williams Jr.
And remember, too, Jalen Bland now has 4 fouls, so that doesn't help much in the performance he has displayed here tonight.
44 seconds to go in the third. Grayson calls for the pick and roll. Glaze charges inside, stripped away by Thomas. Thomas slows it back down. Still got to worry about the 8-second violation. Able to get it to Hamilton. Jones to Armardi. Armardi steps away from the baseline. Steps too far, misses to the left. Dixon now takes it back up. 2-second different shot clock and game clock as it's stolen back away. Shot clock is off. The Express have 15 seconds to work with.
You see the bench is up on their feet. They're liking the effort from the last couple of possessions.
Hamilton side steps to the left, pulls up for the 3, off the front rim. Battle for the rebound, tapped out of bounds. Sudbury possession with 2.5 seconds left.
Yeah, he was just a little too much ambitious on that shot right there. I know the crowd was asking for it, but once again, you got to go with what you're thinking.
Half-court shot to beat the buzzer. Takes a roll as it will say hello to the big basketball. After 3 quarters of play, 78-65 your score as the Windsor Express are 1 quarter away from their first win on the season. So far tonight, looking very strong so far. Let's send it over to Jordan Ferris, our sideline reporter, for a nice report. Jordan?
Quarter strong, and they had some struggles throughout the half. About the middle point of the quarter, it looked like the Express couldn't get things going, and it was going to be a replay of game 1 where Sudbury would come back and take the lead. Fortunately, the Express were able to stay cool in their defensive zone, and Sudbury just can't make threes tonight, it looks like, and they were able to get within a basket of the Express lead. Now, these teams don't seem to like each other very much. Glaze for Sudbury has been hot all night. He's been complaining, he's been shouting, he's been saying some things I probably can't say on broadcast. And this game and the games in the future between these teams look like they will be not only explosive, but fun and full of anger, and this looks like it might be a good rivalry. I gotta send it back up to the guys now. I'm Jordan Ferris.
Thank you very much, Jordan. And that sideline report gave you a little bit of a laugh there, Aaron, for a split second.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there are some words that are said on the basketball court, but in order to ensure that we keep our jobs, we're not going to say it. But as aggressive as this game is, I wouldn't blame the players for spouting out a couple of words there. But once again, as aggressive as this game has been, these two teams got to make sure that there's still a whole lot of ball game to play here. No lead is safe. Like what the Sudbury 5 social media people said, no lead is safe. They have a way to get back into this game. It's just a matter of them executing real well. Because keep in mind, again, Jalen Bland, the usual leading scorer, is out for the moment.
Right now on the floor for the Sudbury 5 to start the 4th quarter, it's going to be Relaford Rayson lined up with Dixon, Williams Jr., and Gilligan. Round up the 5 on the floor as you take a look at the beautiful angle coming from across the floor as we're back underway for the start of the 4th. Rayson, Williams Jr. cuts inside, this time gets the lucky bounce. And they have not had a lot of lucky bounces tonight.
Absolutely, and this one was a real good one because that's how you start off the quarter. You score off real quick, you find great execution, and you're able to get those shots to go. Hey, it might be a good omen for you.
On the floor for the Express, Hamilton, Anderson, Thomas, Otley Jr., or Marty. As Hamilton, 6 on the shot clock, finds Thomas, backs up in the post, draws the contact, cannot get the N1 as he'll go to the line to shoot for 2.
That's a good. DeAndre Thomas is having a good game despite those fouls.
A heck of a game tonight, that's for sure. Chance to add 2 more points to his totals here tonight. The foul going to go against Dixon, his 4th personal. And now he is in possible foul trouble for the rest of this game.
Oh, no doubt he's in foul trouble. They need somebody to really step up. We mentioned at the halftime program that it takes a plethora of people to step up. Well, when you don't have your leading scorer on the floor right now and just frozen solid for the night, that really just puts a kibosh on any possible plans. But in addition to that, the Sudbury Five's got a multitude of players. Braylon Rayson should shoot from outside. Corey Dixon could get down low. In addition to that, Dexter Gilligan could warm up to the occasion. Same with Tyrell Tate.
And the second free throw no good. First free throw missed, I believe, for this entire game. As Anderson, though, able to set it up with the second chance for the Express. 16 on the shot clock.
Amarty wanted the ball. He's a little flabbergasted.
Thomas now gives it to Amarty. Works his way around Gilligan. Cuts inside. Over Gilligan, gets it to go.
How about the bunnies on him on that bro hop? For a second there, I thought he was going to get bit with the offensive foul, but again, he was able to finish the job.
Gilligan cuts around the perimeter. Rayson cuts it back inside to Dixon for the jump shot off the front rim. Tap to Gilligan, but a whistle called, and it's going to go against Sudbury. Logan Stutz saying, what are you guys doing? Trying to go there for the too aggressive, gets the over and back.
And what do I keep on telling you? I keep on telling you this. I keep on telling the crowd this too. That when you try to play with a little too much aggression, it's not going to go your way. You're going to end up being in fouls. You already have a couple players in foul trouble right now, so why even bother going through that? Just keep on moving the ball around.
And the ball moves right to the Sudbury 5 defense as the Express turn it over. Turned over again, though, by Sudbury. Here comes Thomas up the floor for the layup inside.
That's going to be the easiest 2 points he will get in this night.
And for Thomas, able to get himself just in time to the bucket for the transition play. As Williams Jr. runs into a brick wall for the foul. Thomas called for the whistle, and immediately coming towards the bench is Thomas to talk with Bill Jones. Addison will come off the bench as the bench cheers on Thomas, his fourth personal.
How about that? Just listen to the crowd right there giving him the approval, because he has played a heck of a game tonight on both ends of the floor. Yes, his fourth personal foul, but that's the type of firepower the Express needed. They can't be coy. They didn't want to come in being coy, and with that, he was able to perform a good performance here tonight.
10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. A lot can still happen in this one. As now to Rayson. Cuts inside. In traffic, draws the contact. And he'll go to the line to shoot for two. So Braylon Rayson to the line to shoot for two now for the Sudbury 5.
Once again, this is one of those shooters you don't want to go to the line because he averages 88% from the charity stripe. And once again, 9th in free throws this year, and he's coming off a good double-double performance back at Sudbury last week against the Lightning. 16 points, 10 assists to his name. And keep in mind, 5 of 6 from the line as he gets that one to go.
First free throw is good. Second free throw is also good as the lead's down to 14. Hamilton will take it back once again for the Windsor Express. Addison trying to direct traffic with Otley Jr. and Anderson. Anderson and Otley Jr. mix up signals down low. 10 on the shot clock. Steps to the left. Pick set by Addison. 3 on the shot clock. To the corner. Amarty for 3. Yes, sir!
I'm still puzzled at how Ryan Anderson was able to break out of that double team as a shot clock went down. But hey, when you know this league so well, you know some of the perks.
And a quick foul as Anderson tried to draw the charge. Instead, the Sudbury 5 will go to the line to shoot for 2 once again. For Anderson, it will be his third personal foul, team's third foul, as that brings Williams Jr. to the line to shoot for 2. The IR designate for Walter Pitchford, who is out for tonight's game with chest issues, wanted back for the home opener, ended up going back on the IR for this week's home-and-home series.
And once again, he got replaced by Dexter Williams, who put on a good performance here on the 17th in the home opener. So once again, it goes to show that the 5 know what they want. So IR designated or not, it's the next man up.
15-point lead still as Hamilton inside in traffic, yes. A quick bucket again for the Express. Down low. Rilliford spins by Amarty, misses, tapped off the board. Second chance, Dixon, no good. Near over and back foul, but either way, tapped out of bounds. Windsor possession.
Yeah, Williams got lucky, but once again, there's been a big fight for the boards throughout the entire game. So I'm happy that the referees let them play on. But once again, that doesn't mean people could get away with things.
And it looks like we'll have a rebound as Hamilton lost his footing before getting the ball. Either way, under 9 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. Boet pass nearly stolen by Bland. Nearly got the steal, rushing from inside the paint to the perimeter.
You hear the coaches yelling right down to the sideline.
Yeah, right now trying to say what they want their teams to do, not to get too fancy, as you said.
Yeah, we don't need no Showtime efforts now. This is not the time to do that.
Express lead by 17 still. Hamilton to make it 20, yes! The contested three makes it a 20-point lead for Windsor.
How about this fella? Like I said, he's one of those breakthrough players for the Red and Black this year.
Grayson has to reset, meanwhile, after the reach. Anderson matched up with him. Contested fall away off the front rim. Armani gets the board. Windsor Express now to try and push it back up. Still a lot can happen in 8 minutes. A 20-point lead. Last time the 20-point lead was had by the Express over Sudbury, it was a collapse in the home opener. Three-pointer no good, picked up by Dixon. Sudbury pushes the tempo as Hamilton draws the reach.
Once again, you're seeing some of those fouls outside from the post being one of those quick fouls so they don't get an easy chance to the basket. So Hamilton did a good idea right there. But the one thing that I'm impressed about, JP, the rebounds from the Windsor Express. They're doing a real good job boxing out.
And that was one of the main things to clean up outside of just the basics. Timeout called by Logan Stutz on the floor with a 20-point lead. A reminder, of course, this is a home-and-home series between these two teams. The Windsor Express make their way down to the Nickel City for December the 1st. Once again, December the 1st for the second game of the home-and-home series and the second home game for the Sudbury 5.
And you know what? They had a good turnout of the last game. We see a couple of fans enjoying themselves from the Tecumseh Saints down there. But once again, Sudbury is going to be in for a great surprise throughout the season. This is the team that's going to be one of those contenders for the championship. And I'm sure Nick Leard and the other commentators over there who broadcast the game are going to be amazed at how tough and well dedicated this team really is. So Sudbury's doing a real good job. It's going to be interesting to see how they find a way to pull through and get another W over at the community arena in a few nights.
You're looking at the Dr. David Matty Madison Dental Smile Cam right now. A lot of happy fans in attendance tonight, possibly for the chance to see the Windsor Express come away with the first victory of the season. A lot of people wanting to dance and hopefully celebrate in the aisles before heading out tonight here. But a lot can still happen. 7 minutes to go, just over that mark. Can the Express hold on, you think?
It's a matter of how they're able to contain their fouls. All right, it comes down to that. We've seen a couple of offensive fouls, and we've seen a couple of fouls where everybody's just shoving. So I wouldn't take those fouls unless if it's necessary. But on top of that, whatever they're doing offensively, they got to keep on going. They got to keep on swinging the ball, and they got to keep on giving it to the big man so they can try to deliver and go for a possible three-point play.
And they tried to start the play off early before the end of the timeout clock. 8 minutes, in fact, even on the clock. As the Sudbury 5 have possession. 21 seconds at the start of the shot clock as Rayson double teamed outside. Now Rutherford cuts inside for the right-handed slam.
Once again, that was too easy because Rutherford was just camping out of the free throw line. Once you get all that attention on you while you have the ball, that just creates a double team and just branches out for somebody to pop in and jam it down.
The overcommit now from Sudbury 5 almost led to the turnover. Has now 7:34 to work with. Otley Jr. for the triple. Just rims out. Williams Jr. pushes the tempo back up. Now trying to set up his plan. Rutherford pulls up, foot on the line. Front rim no good as the Express trying to get it back out of the double team.
Beauty.
Full court press, backs off once again. As another whistle called up the floor. As the Sudbury 5 are clapping, I think it's against the Express for an offensive foul. Indeed it is.
All right, so the Express, they got to bounce back on a defensive effort. Meanwhile, Sudbury, it's an open chance for them. I mean, again, if you're able to have Dexter Williams and Rutherford all up into the mix to try to get those baskets, refer to them.
Apologies for the quick technical issue there you might have noticed a couple minutes ago, as we're back underway with 7 minutes to go in the fourth. The 5 trying to come back in this one, down 18. Williams Jr. will go to the line to shoot for 2. Anderson draw tall for the reach. So Williams Jr. for the second time in the fourth quarter back to the line to shoot for 2. Anderson now with 4 fouls now, Aaron.
Absolutely. So once again, it goes back to how you control those fouls and how you contain yourself. You still got plenty of time to go. You don't want to be in foul trouble. Because remember, if you look at one of the people that are in foul trouble right now, it's DeAndre Thomas with 4. That's why he's on the bench right now. Juan Patillo comes back in. He's got to be real careful too.
So it's the full starting 5 now on the floor for the Express as Patillo comes back in now for Windsor. Second free throw, no good. 5 try and chase it back down as Wormley able to get it, pushes back on up. Anderson around 2 screens. Guarded hard by Dixon. Patillo now in the high post. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Utley Jr. gets open inside, draws the contact, as he'll go to the line to shoot for 2. And Utley Jr. with the heck of an awareness there to see the opening underneath the cylinder.
Once again, that's been the Express's bread and butter. Just give it to your big man and get out the way. As Utley Jr. is going to go to the line. He's doing a real good job assuming the starting role for tonight's game.
Do you think that Bill Jones might go towards that for future games as well, of course, or Marty to off the bench to give them scoring still, and Utley Jr. to give them some defense in the starting 5?
I believe so, because once again, when you look at the Windsor Express offense, especially in the last home game in the KW Titans game, you've seen a lot of cross-court passes that were intercepted. Not a lot of people could answer that call and get the shot to go, so you got to play the big man game, give it right down low. So I think this is the type of direction Bill Jones wants. If you want more scoring, get the highest possible shot as you can, take the contact and go inside. Quick steal.
Anderson gets the steal. Stolen away, though, on a scramble by the Sudbury 5. Here comes Racing for the corner triple. Off the front, rolls right on out. Battle for the rebound. Addison tied on up.
Oh.
And a reach-in call on Williams Jr. And the Sudbury 5, you can see what their game plan is to try and lock down whoever gets the rebound and double team immediately. Blazek comes in after the foul for Williams Jr.
Yeah, but keep in mind, too, that didn't go their way because the possession error is pointing towards the Windsor Express. So next time they get in a tie-up, they'll get the ball, but you got to keep in mind, as long as you don't have the possession arrow in your favor, there's no use.
Approaching halfway to go in the fourth, another foul. Rutherford called for the whistle. He'll immediately go over to the bench to Logan Stutz. Logan Stutz says, even though that's his 5th, he wants him on the floor.
Well, you need somebody that's tough and gritty like Rutherford. Again, another NBL Canada veteran.
Once again, 5 fouls now for Rutherford. On the floor, go the Express. Jump ball, and the possession arrow goes to the Express. So Express keep possession, 10 on the shot clock. And now Tate will come off the bench. So Tate coming into the game now as he'll come in for Bland. (93-74) your score. 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Quick shot. It's good from Anderson. Ryan Anderson getting the bucket. 22 points is the lead. As Blazek for the response triple off the back rim. And the Express now go to the half-court set to wind down the clock. 5.5 minutes to work with. Pick and roll again. Wormley stolen on the backdoor cut. Here comes Racing. Rutherford goes to the perimeter. Racing goes to the hoop for the bucket.
Well, he thought he was going to get contested. That's why he double pumped right there and got the reverse to go.
Still a little bit contested there. Gilligan now waits on the bench for the next stoppage. Express continue to wind it down. They continue to wait until the 10-second mark on the shot clock before they start the plays.
Well, they're trying to milk the clock out.
Anderson back rim, no good. Tate with the rebound. Racing with the pick up the floor. sets up for the three. It's good.
Once again, when you have that speed in Braylon racing, you could expect him to pop up for those threes.
And it helps, too, to set up the pick on the front, up the front court, too.
Yeah, that's true.
Able to set up the play with 4.5 minutes to go. Still down big, 96-79. Wormley. Now to Patillo. Loses the dribble. Nearly stripped away. Rutherford taps it out. They say it's off Patillo. It's going to be Sudbury ball. And Gilligan comes into the game. Rutherford with the 5 fouls will go to the bench. Quickly to Gilligan. Charges towards Patillo. Racing from the parking lot, gets it. Back-to-back triples.
Once again, when you pop up and when you get that open space, you're going to fire at will, and that's what Rayson's been doing in the last couple of minutes.
Anderson rushes up the floor. Stripped away nearly by Blazek. Blazek now called for the reach, and a second hand going in from Glaze after the foul. Either way, that's going to put the Express into the bonus. That's going to be the 17th foul for the Sudbury 5. And bring Ryan Anderson to the line. Blazek with his 4th.
Well, keep in mind, that may be good news for the Express, but they really got to tighten down on the defensive end in the transition game. Sudbury 5's coming back right into their bread and butter. The transition game, the pace, and being able to knock down shots at will. As we see Anderson go to the line and shoot and miss the first free throw, that's Heartbreak City right there. You got to understand, there's still plenty of ball to go, and it's only a 14-point game. Everything isn't official yet.
4:02 to go as he misses both. That's rare to see from Anderson. Either way, he's had a double-double tonight, as you can probably tell. Blazek nearly pulls up for the mid-range, able to back off. 12 on the shot clock. Down low, Glaze. Late foul as Addison not happy, as that's going to go against him. Foul from behind will send Sudbury to the line to shoot for 2 for the 6th foul for the Express.
Good anticipation from the Express, but once again, when you put too much hand into it, you're going to get called for that foul.
Granny Glaze again to the line to shoot for 2 with 3:48 to work with. Misses again. Glaze has not looked comfortable from the stripe tonight. 46% on the season coming in. That could possibly drop a couple percentage points with the way tonight is gone. Misses both again.
I honestly thought he made that one, JP. It just rattled in and out like it was a game of ping pong.
Ping pong indeed. Still a 14-point lead. The Sudbury 5 hoping that the ping pong ball bounces its way to single digits. Patillo no good. Still 3:30 to work with for the 5. Glaze sets up the pick and fade. Racing draws the foul, back-to-back fouls for Addison. And now the Sudbury 5 draw what is going to be, I believe, the, again, 6 now is what they credit the 6 personal.
Once again, this is not the player you really want to foul right now. He's been catching fire in the second half.
So, once again, 2 straight fouls now for Addison, 2 personals now in the game as Racing drains the first of 2. For the Sudbury 5, they're starting to chip away a little bit in the late going here. What else can they do to try and come back with still 3:21 to go? Misses the second, though.
You're going to keep on swinging the ball, keep on being aggressive, start boxing out so you can set up for a good transition game or a good second chance opportunity.
Wormley down high to the high post again to Patillo. Outside, Wormley stretching the floor for the triple, yes!
And they stretch the lead right back up.
And the Express guarding up the floor, not wanting any high-tempo offense from Sudbury. Tate to the hoop again for the layup. And the lead's back down to 14. So Sudbury continuing to put up quick shots. Anderson finds Wormley to direct the traffic. 2-3 setup, 2-3 defense. Wormley, mid-range jump shot, gets it to go. 5 straight points for Wormley.
It's all about the balance. You leave somebody dragging, that opens up a good opportunity for you.
Racing outside. Dillon cuts in, misses no good. Glaze second chance. Still 11 on the shot clock. Racing steps up, no good. Anderson draws the board. Wormley will take it up to the half court, avoids the reach-in from Gilligan. 2 minutes to go and a chance to seal up the game here. We've seen comebacks from this distance before. Wormley, with one more basket, could seal it up. Cuts inside over Tate. No good. Here comes Sudbury. Glaze up the floor, finds his way to Racing. Racing draws it in for the bucket. And a whistle called, substitutions on the floor. As there's going to be a timeout, in fact, called on the floor. Windsor calls the timeout. So a 14-point lead. As the Sudbury 5, I think, might be running just out of time at this point. A 14-point lead. About a minute 45, give or take, to go.
Absolutely. So now I wouldn't put the panic button on yet, but again, too little time, like you said. They got to keep on swinging the ball and just pop up every shot. It doesn't have to be a long-range shot, because keep in mind, you get a quick 2-in, you can put the full court pressure and pressure the daylights out of the Express, try to get a quick turnover out of it.
And now this gets to another quick point here. The Express have a chance here to get a victory before going on the 3-game road trip for them. This could be an absolutely big-time game for what they want to do in the early going of the season.
Well, keep in mind, A, it would be a confidence booster, and B, it will just make up for the fact that they lost the first game. But keep in mind, you got 2 more games that you really got to make up for in order to hit 500. So it's all about conditioning when you look at this game.
A lot can still happen, though, in a minute and 40 seconds, minute 39 to be exact.
That's right.
Anything can happen. The Sudbury 5 looking to have the comeback of ages. The Windsor Express looking to hold on as they clear parts of their bench, as Hamilton comes into the game now for Windsor. Also clearing off the bench now, it appears, is the Sudbury 5 as Chandler comes into the game now. Tate on the floor with Georges Cerise, who we have not seen too much of, in fact, for much of this game. Very quiet tonight. Glaze still on the floor with Tate as well, along with Gilligan to round out the 5 for Sudbury. Express will continue to wind it on down. Patillo draws his way out of the paint. All 5 players to the perimeter. Otley Jr. for the dagger off the front rim. Glaze will now push the tempo again. Hands it back off. Cerise to Glaze. Chandler wide open, gets the bucket. And Antoine Chandler with the bucket. The Eastern Michigan collegiate player gets the 2. Still a minute to go, 12-point advantage. Hamilton draws back off Tate. Patillo with the pick. Hamilton with the roll, inside with the dagger for 2.
Yeah, that's going to have to do it right there. Reggie Hamilton is just putting on a good performance whenever he's on the court. Good steal by Anderson.
Anderson will take it back up for the Windsor Express. A huge victory coming off the worst start in franchise history, 0-3, heading into tonight. They will wind down the clock, 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Anderson just chucks it up. One last shot to end off the game. Cerise for the triple off the front rim. Gilligan for the second chance, puts it back in. But for the Windsor Express, they'll still deal with the full court press. Hamilton will just take it up to the half court. With 11 seconds to go, the Windsor Express coming into this week dead last in the power rankings, 0-3 on the season, will get their first victory of 2018-19. They'll move to 1-3 and defeat the Sudbury 5, 103-91. And you can hear the crowd. Absolute elation. Getting revenge after the opening game loss to start off the year. Sudbury with their first loss of the season, too.
Fantastic relief, and a lot of people would deem this as an upset. Well, we'll find out what happens in the next few nights, but for this moment, the Windsor Express found their ways to redeem themselves after a rough patch to start the year.
And you can see both teams shaking their hands. We'll take a quick step aside. When we come back, we'll have your post-game report with Aaron Sanderson on. You're watching the Windsor Express Network. Your final score once again, 103-91, the final for the first victory of the season for Windsor.
All right, the Express wins this one 103-91, their first win of the year. We welcome you back up here as we wrap things up here at the WFCU Center. Aaron Sanders, JP, Justin Prince, a sigh of relief for the Express, but still a long way to go. How were they able to take advantage of this game tonight?
Well, they stuck to their game plan and made it work tonight, Aaron. They need this kind of a game. They were able to lock down the perimeter, stop the shooters from the Sudbury 5. They struggled for most of the night from deep, threw them off the rhythm. They also stayed conditioned and consistent the entire 48 minutes tonight to keep it to double digits for just about the entire second half in this matchup tonight. A heck of a performance tonight to get what they needed, a big-time confidence booster for the Express.
Remember, the Sudbury 5 didn't give up either, but they just came a little bit too short. Jalen Bland, ice cold in scoring tonight, but it led to a lot of people that try to make sure that damage wasn't too much for them. Good heads up for Tyrell Tate, Travis Relaford, and, of course, Braylon Rayson taking care of the three-point range as well.
Yeah, Rayson really stepped up in the second half to try and get Sudbury back into this game, helped get it to within 7 at one point in the third quarter, but it just seemed that there's some players that just felt off tonight, Bland off tonight from the field. Rayson was off for much of the first half. Gilligan, in the second half was off from the field. Glaze was off from the field. Some of your top players were in foul trouble for the second half. They just felt off the rhythm tonight shooting, and once they were down in their hole and once they got the scoring back together and the tempo back up, it was too much too late, and the Express were fully into cruise control.
So the Windsor Express and the Sudbury 5, they'll do battle once again on the first over at Sudbury Community Arena. So a couple more days before that battle, the second and final game of the home-and-home series. What are you taking in from this game and some closing final thoughts?
I think if you're Logan Stutz, he's definitely making some tweaks to his offensive system. Lowest points scored so far as a franchise so far. And continuing the drop-off, even a steeper drop-off with the performance tonight from the field. So expect them to have some more plays set up to try and increase ball movement, try and increase the assists, and try and break through on the perimeter. I expect the Express to be even more intimidating on the defense. They found something that worked with the lineup with Otley Jr. in the starting 5 and not Amarty to give scoring off the bench. I kind of expect that potentially from Bill Jones again when they go down to Sudbury.
So the Windsor Express, all the fans out there, they get their first win of the year. It's a sigh of relief. And for all the viewers watching it, including Uncle Drew, you finally got the W right there. So it's a matter of being consistent throughout the rest of the way. For the Sudbury fans, well, you know what? This is still a good team, time to shine. Make sure you pack up that Sudbury Community Arena. If you're not able to make it out, please watch Nick Liard's call of that Sudbury game Saturday. But as for us, that'll wrap it up for us. Again, the final score, 103-91. The Express get their first win, and the Sudbury 5 get their first loss. We're back here on December 15th. That will be a 7 p.m. start where the Express will play host to the Kitchener-Waterloo Titans, another team they really want to break even with. So we hope to see you along the way. But other than that, we thank you again for watching in. We want to thank the great crew who helped us here on behalf of St. Clair College. And until next time, for Jordan Ferris, JP, Justin Prince, the entire crew, this is Aaron Sanders saying so long from the Rose City.